So next will be performance. What it is about performance. So performance, generally, it is about time. Performance is about the management of system resource in the face of particular types of demand to achieve accepted timing behavior. So performance can be measured in terms of throughput and latency for both interactive and embedded real-time systems. Generally, this is also one of the measure which stakeholder can this is one of the quality attributes that can be used by stakeholder to measure how successful is your implementation. The general scenario for the performance looks in next way. The source of the stimulus is it can be get from external or internal source. This stimulus. So what is the event that stimulate that these changes? So it can be periodic, stochastic, or sporadic, characterized by numeric of parameters in general. Artifact. The artifact is the system or one of more of its components. Environment. Environment, it means that the system can be in various operational modes such as normal, peak load, overload, so on. The response. The system must process the arriving events. This may cause a change in system environment. The response measure, it's about the time. So the response measure are the time it takes to process the arriving events, or different variation of this time. So it can be latency, deadline, miss rates. Now let's take a look for example of concrete scenario for performance. The input is next. User initiate transactions under normal operations. The system process the transactions with an average latency of 2 seconds. Based on this input and general scenario, we can build next concrete scenario. The source in this case will be the user. The user initiate transaction. Initiate transaction where? On the system, on system, which is what is the environment when the system are working. The environment is normal operation. What the response should be for this initiate transaction. Transactions are processed. And how can we measure this action? It is mentioned that average latency of 2 seconds. So here is concrete value 2 seconds, and you can use to during the design phase, and later on when the implementation will be done, it can be used to double check is this performance quality attribute or characteristic are covered or not, which is something concrete and can be checked. Is your design, is your implementation of or your team covered such quality attribute or not? Something concrete. What I'm talking about, for example, yeah, let's cover tactics, and then I will tell you. What kind of tactics can be used in this way during we are working for the performance? So the goal of performance tactic is to generate a response to an event arriving at the system within same time-based constraint. We can generally divide for two groups. It's control resource demand and manage resource. For the control resource demand, one of the tactic is manage sampling rate. Manage sampling rate. So what it is about. If it's possible to reduce the sampling frequency at which a stream of environmental data is captured, then demand can be reduced. Let's try to provide some example. For example, different codecs can be chosen with different sampling rates or data formats. So this design choice is made to maintain predictable levels of latency. So you have to decide whether having a lower fidelity but consistent stream of data is preferable to losing packets of data. Another one is limit event response. For example, you notice by the monitoring that there are too many requests coming to your system, arrive to your system, and to repeatedly one of the way is that then you will the events must be queued until they be processed. And because these events are discrete, it is typically not desirable to decrease such value. So in such case, you can, one of the way how can you can choose that you will process events only in some maximum rate. This is one of the tactics that can be applied to reduce the load and make your system work in a more predictable way. And so this is one of the way how can you resolve and achieve a nice performance of your system. Another one is prioritize events. If not all events are equally important, so then you can choose the priority and ranks these events according to how important it is for the service, and proceed and process that events that has higher priority and start from them firstly than the events that has lower priority. So you can sometimes even ignore events consumed minimal resources. Another one tactic is reduce overhead. It means you can use some intermediates to increase the resource consumed in processing in event. This is generally can affect modifiability, but from other way it will increase performance. So this is a trade-off between modifiability and performance. When you will just separate your functionality between different components and switching between
I'm
these.
sorry, we have less than 1 minute.
Okay, thank you. So another one tactics, it is bounded execution times. So here you can limit